Binormal vector B of t. What's that? Well, the binormal vector B of t is the cross product of the unit tangent vector capital T and the unit normal vector capital N. So then B of t is perpendicular to both t and n, and so B of t is perpendicular to the plane spanned by t of t and n of t. Since t and n both are unit vectors, B will also be a unit vector. So here is the picture. So let's say P is the point out of T, and T of T would be tangent to the curve at P, and recall that N of T is perpendicular to T of T, and N of T has the same direction as T prime of T, and B of T is perpendicular to the plane spanned by T and N. Now we can also say that T of T is perpendicular to the plane that is spanned by B and N, and the plane that is spanned by B and N is called a normal plane. So T of T is perpendicular to the normal plane at P determined by B and N. Okay, let's do an example. So out of T is, let's say, cosine Ti plus sine Tj plus Tk. We want to find the unit normal vector N of T and the unit and the binormal vector B of T. Now capital T of T would be r prime of T divided by the length of r prime of T. So it's the velocity divided by the length, velocity divided by the length of the velocity. So it's velocity over the speed. And this is what is r prime of, so what is r prime of T? R prime of T would be negative sine T I plus cosine Tj plus 1k, and then the length of this would be sine squared plus cosine squared plus 1, which would be 2, and you have to take the root, so you get root of 2. So the length of this r prime of T is root of 2. So we get 1 over root of 2 times this. So that's capital T of T. Now what is N of T? N of T is T prime of T divided by the length of T prime of T. Now what is T prime of T? T prime of T would be the derivative of this guy. So this is 1 over root 2 times the derivative of that. So this would be negative cosine Ti negative sine Tj plus 0k. So T prime of T would be 1 over root 2 times negative cosine Ti minus sine Tj. And the length of T prime of T, well, the length of this vector here would be the root of cosine squared of T plus sine squared of T, which is 1. So the length of this would be 1 over root 2. So we see that N of T would be T prime of T divided by the length. And if I divide this by this quantity, then I get just negative cosine Ti minus sine Tj. So N of T is this vector. Finally, the binormal vector B of T would be T of T cross product with N of T. So N of T is negative cosine T, negative sine T, and 0. And then T of T was 1 over root 2 negative sine T, 1 over root 2 cosine T, and 1 over root 2 times 1. So the first row are the components of T of T. The second row are the components of capital N of T. And if we take the cross product here, then what we end up with is 1 over root 2 sine Ti minus 1 over root 2 cosine Tj plus 1 over root 2 k. So let me just show you how I get the coefficient of I here. So to get the coefficient of I, we look at the determinant of this 2 by 2. So this times this would be 0 minus this times this, which is 1 over root 2 times sine t at the end. Okay, so that's B of t. All right, so I will stop the video here, and I will see you soon.